Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 38 of this awesome, amazing Osu Let's Play series. In the last episode, I talked about focus and how it can affect your gameplay and ways to improve focus, especially for tournament gameplay, in my opinion. And in this episode, I want to talk about accuracy and offset. I think it's a pretty overdue topic, I feel like, but I do want to touch on ways to improve it and also what exactly offset means in a more casual, laid-back format. Yes. Before I get started, I want to shout out as usual that I live stream every single day over at twitch.tv/DigitalHypno. So if you want to hang out with me live or ask me a question, watch me play this game live, anything like that, would be very happy to see you guys there. Go stop by, say hello, and bonus points. Yes, you get bonus points if you stop by and tell me that you came from the Let's Play series. I'd be very, very happy to see you there. So yes, let's get started. So as usual, so accuracy is one of the topics that I would heavily suggest you watch Osu PhD. If you have not seen that video already, it will be linked in the little card thingy in the top corner. But definitely, please watch that video first. There's a huge section on accuracy that goes really in depth on the topic, but I do want to give my own personal anecdotes in this episode as well. So okay, so let's go to the options actually. So there's a hit error. What's it called? Score meter. Officially, it's called score meter, but I usually just call it the hit error bar, which is the bar that's at the bottom of the screen. So you can turn it on here, and then you can change the size here as well. Personally, I have mine at 1.5, but it's just one point of reference, and you can use whatever size you think best. It's your preference, I guess, obviously, as with anything in this game. But so that is the bar at the bottom of the screen here. So each time I tap, okay, so basically you can read it like a timeline. So the left is like the earliest timing, and then the right is the latest timing. And each time you tap a note, it will create a line based on how close you were to a perfect hit accuracy-wise. So a technical perfect hit would be this white bar that's right there in the middle. That is the technical, like you hit it exactly perfectly on time. And the white arrow is like around where the majority of your hits have been. I think it's like the most recent hits that you've been, like around where they are. So if you see this arrow tending towards one side or the other, that's probably because the hits that you just got were around that area as well. So that is what that means. And this bar, this graph at the bottom is very, very helpful for determining how your accuracy is, and also, I guess, like what offset you should use. So I'll explain that in a little bit, but basically, you want all of your hits. Okay, so actually, let me explain the colors also. So colors, so this blue section is the 300 range. So if one of the lines is in there, then that means you hit it and you would get a 300 on that note. And then green is 100 and orange is 50. Same concept basically. And then if you hit outside of that section, if you hit it way outside, then you'll end up note locking because the game's going to be like, yeah, you're not supposed to be tapping this yet. But if you hit it like around here or around here, then you'll actually end up missing the note entirely. So actually, yeah, if you even hit it like way back there, you're not going to note lock if you hit it super late. You're just going to miss the note. So that's how that works. And okay, so let me try to explain offset and like when you should need offset. So basically, so the closer all of the lines are, like here, let me actually play the map a little longer so that there are more lines. Oh, okay, good example. First note. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, I freaking barely hit it in the 100 zone. That's very interesting. Okay, let me try again. Okay. Okay, I got this. Okay, yeah, here. Okay, so all the lines, right, are more or less very close to that white bar in the middle, which is good, ideal, obviously. And the latest hits that I was getting seem to be on the right of the graph a little bit. So if all of your hits are close together and also near the white line, then that is good. You don't need offset. Your accuracy is looking good. If your hits are very close together, but they are not close to the white line, like they're very far on one side or the other side, then that is where you would need offset. I'm pretty sure this map, I actually do need offset. So I will try to, oh god, I think I'm trying to, okay, so when I was testing this map earlier, I actually needed offset, but I don't know. Apparently, I'm just hitting in time now. But okay, actually, okay, still kind of. Okay, so notice how all of my hits are kind of close together. Oh, okay, well, I guess not, because talking and my taps are all over the place, but okay, hopefully it sort of makes sense. Okay, yeah, so basically, if all of your hits are like very close together on one side, then you're gonna need an offset. And a bit of a scuffed explanation, but if you're like, okay, if your hits are close together and on the right side, and which means you're hitting late, then you're gonna want plus offset to fix the late taps. So if I press the plus button on my keyboard, that will change. Oh, okay. So also you have to do it. Okay, so if you try doing it while like in game or while you're paused like this, offset can only be changed while the game is not paused, and that's because technically, like, you could pause the game and change the offset to roll the map back, and then it's just gonna sort of throw off the game. But basically, the offset changes like where the map is relative to the MP3 of the song. I'm pretty sure. And then there's okay, so this is what's called local offset. So I think it actually says it. Yeah, local beatmap offset. Okay, there's not enough space at the start of this map, but basically, okay, I think you guys can sort of see. You can pause the video if you need to. But then every time I retry, so if I press the plus button, it changes it in increments of 5. And if I hold Alt and press the plus button, then it'll change in increments of 1. So that is how you do that. And then if I want to set it back a little bit, set it too far, press the minus button a couple times. I think I honestly only need like 5 offset. So I use Alt minus to change it back to 0, and then plus probably only need like 5 offset or something. Because when I was playing this map before I started recording, I was actually hitting a little late. So I consistently late as if I needed offset. So I think plus 5 should put it in a better spot. But so hopefully that explanation was somewhat clear. And then obviously if you're hitting early, then it's the opposite. You're going to need minus offset. So, and that is for local offset. So from what I remember, so the local offset changes the map, like objects relative to the MP3. And there's also something called universal offset, which actually I'll just show you guys. Universal. Okay, so clearing the search thingy, you can press escape for one, or you can, okay, so this is actually, you can do anywhere. If you hold control and backspace, it'll delete one word at a time. So if I have score, wait, I can't, wait, actually, let me just do this, ACF, like this. You just have a bunch of words, right? Hold control and backspace, and you just delete one word at a time. This is actually really useful. I use this usually, like, if I mess up, like, if I typo at the start of a word, then I'll just do control backspace and then retype it. So, it's life hack. It's control O to open the options, and universal offset. So, this changes the, okay, so this is opposite of local offset. So if you are hitting late on every single map, which is usually some sort of, like, you're using wireless headphones or something that have delay, or like your keyboard has delay or something like that, then I would suggest, okay, so yeah, so if you were to do plus 5, this would actually be helping early hits. So it would make your early hits more on time. But if you're having the problem that I was having in this map where you're hitting everything consistently late, then you're going to want, oh shoot, yeah, you're going to want to do minus 5 offset. Oh, also, actually, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in this Let's Play series before, but this yellow glow means that the option is not set at the default setting. So if I change it back to 0, then that is the default setting, so the yellow glow goes away. And let's say I don't want to figure out where the 0 option is, then I can just click the yellow, and that will automatically set it back to default. So if my offset was like somewhere random, I just want to set it back, then you just click on the yellow glow. So that is what that glow is, and that's what it means and what you can do with it. So it's a real OC life hack. Okay, so that's mostly offset, and I mentioned in OCPHD as well that people suggest to not use offset until you're like a certain skill level. And I think the whole point with that is that it's sometimes hard to tell if you need offset or if your accuracy is just really bad. And again, please watch OCPHD for an in-depth explanation of that. But yes, let's see. So other things that can affect accuracy. Okay, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode also. I don't remember which one, but basically, no matter what, okay, so pretty much any skill in this game, if you are not good at it, then it will manifest as an accuracy issue. So let's say my tapping speed is really bad, like I can't tap this map fast enough, then I'm gonna end up dropping accuracy. And if I can't read the map, then I'm probably just gonna end up missing or getting 100s and obviously drop accuracy. Yeah, pretty much any skill. if you can't do it, then it'll show as an accuracy issue, including accuracy itself. So if you are just bad at like raw accuracy, then it can be very hard to tell if you're actually having an offset, if it's an offset issue, or if you're just bad at some other skill that's related to the map, if that makes sense. So that's why I think like people suggest to figure out your fundamentals first, so that oh wait, stream section. Wait, why is my volume so low now? What did I do? Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Let's see, I can't think while like trying to not embarrass myself in the stream section. Okay, I think it's almost over. Okay, nice. This map is so good. Okay, so yeah, so the reason why people say get your fundamentals down first, like don't touch offset until a certain rank, is that like if you keep using the offset, as an excuse to not actually get better at the different skills in the game, then obviously you're not really gonna improve as much as you would if you just like tackle those skills. That makes sense. So yeah, but so let's just like assume that your like raw, so your raw accuracy skill is like the only thing holding you back from getting good accuracy. And let's say like it's a consistency map, so it's like all the same stuff, and you just kind of randomly get 100s sometimes. What I would suggest, so for one, I think using loud and responsive hit sounds is really, really important. But I think most importantly, you should just like try really hard to get good accuracy. I think is like the bottom line. Like try a lot, retry, and like every time you get a 100. The thing with raw accuracy is it's somewhat unique in how you train it. Like you're gonna want to so for most skills, you want to like challenge yourself, like keep pushing your mechanics, and like if you can FC something, then it's probably too easy for you. It's basically like if you can solve a certain type of math problem comfortably every time, then that problem is probably too easy for you. It's the same idea. But the only exception I think to that is like raw accuracy. Like unstable rate, I think is also a good term to refer to. Usually unstable rate and next map by the way. OC direct. Because actually usually I just copy the map ID to go to the next map, but you click on the OC Direct button. If you have an OC supporter, click on the OC Direct button on the website and it'll open the panel. You can click Go to Map if you have the map downloaded. But, okay, let's see Score V2 for this map. Okay, so yeah, I would suggest if you're really just trying to push raw accuracy, then like keep retrying maps that like, if you got 99.5, then keep trying it again and try to weed out all of those 100s. And get like 99.6 or 0.7 or 0.8 all the way up to SS. I think that's probably the most reliable way to just train raw accuracy. I think it's also important to know... Oh, stream? What? Why is it a stream app? It's important to know if it's an accuracy issue or a reading issue. I think that's probably really important. Because let's say like the AR is really, really low. So like the notes are coming really slowly. And you're hitting early on everything. It could help to use an offset in that case, but what you probably actually want to do is just like slow your tapping down a lot. Like tap slower than you think you need to, especially if you're not used to that AR. But using audio keys is really, really powerful in that sense. And it can also help like using those audio keys for like really low AR when you're sight reading. I think is really helpful because, I'll put it this way. Chances are the map is like the circles are mapped to the music. So if you're listening to the music, then you can probably figure out the rhythm. That's actually not always the case though. Especially on older maps, I think people tend to use like sort of made up or supplementary rhythm rather than actually mirroring the music. But for the most part, the rhythm ideally, hopefully, goes along to the song. So yeah, I think being able to hear the music clearly, and that's also why like having very little audio latency is very important for a lot of players for good accuracy. Also, I guess since it's sort of on topic, I want to mention how I feel like there's sort of two types of reading in this game. Like some people, okay, so either you read visually or you read like by audio cue, is sort of how you figure out the rhythm. And obviously there can be a combination of both. I think ideally you have a combination of both, but there's some players out there that like solely or like primarily use one or primarily use the other. So if you find that the music is sort of just like background noise, and for the most part you act by just watching the approach circle, then you probably are more visual. And if you don't even really notice approach circles and you entirely tap based on what you're hearing, then probably more audio-based reading style. Obviously, I think it's most ideal if you can do both. Like, sort of use the audio. Okay, so I think personally how I would say, and I've heard a couple other players say this as well, but like, use the audio cues to like help you like what's the word? Okay, use audio cues to help you predict sort of like what pattern is probably coming next, and then use your reading ability to actually figure out what the pattern is. Because you can't just like close your eyes and tap to the song and hope and like end up hitting a 300 on everything. But I think it helps a lot to listen to the music, because like sort of being in the flow of the music is really, really powerful, obviously, for sort of maintaining rhythm. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I do want to touch on, okay, so it was mentioned in OCPHD, but the numbers on the result screen, when you mouse your cursor over this graph at the bottom, there's all this accuracy information. So unstable rate, I think I mentioned it even in episode 1, but that is basically a measure of how close together your hits are. And again, mentioned in OCPHD, so just to recap, the first number is the average of how early all of your early hits were, and the second number is the average of how late all of your late hits were. So 1.71, okay, so basically the negative 1.71 through, or like basically dash, and 11.90 milliseconds. And then AVG means average. So it's the average of how early your early hits were and how late your late hits were. So for me, for this map, they were pretty much identical, which is ideal. That basically means you don't need offset, but let's say one of the numbers was like 20 and the other one was like 1. Then that pretty much means I was only ever hitting on the early side. And if I did ever hit later than a perfect hit, then it wasn't really by that much. And in that case, I would definitely want to put minus local offset because I'm hitting early a lot. So yes, that is what that means. And then unstable rate is basically throughout the entire map how close together all of your hits were. If there was a spinner in that map, then there's this spin information as well. So your average speed and then the maximum speed that you reached. And then there's also what's called spinner unstable rate, which people don't really care about, I think. But well, maybe some like if your playstyle is like leaderboard farming on like low star maps, then maybe unstable rate is something that's interesting to you. But for the most part, that's basically just like how consistent like your spin speed was. Like if it was pretty much the same speed the entire time, then you would get a low unstable rate for that. But not the most important statistic to pay attention to. I think the accuracy ones are really what we care about, but I did want to mention that in this episode. So yes, that is that. And also keep in mind that this information only shows is it when you have just played the map or just watched the replay. So if I click on a random replay here, this score is insane, by the way. Are you kidding me? 99? Wait, 90? Wait, what? These guys are crazy. But anyway, yeah, if you try putting your mouse over the graph here, then it's not going to work. You need to watch the replay because that information is not saved like the rest of the replay's information. So yes, that is how that works. Let's see, next map. Miku, you banger. Let's go. Okay, I'll play one more map, I think, but yes, other things regarding consistency. Oh no, not consistency. What? Accuracy. Consistency is what I was thinking. But okay, so for these episodes, I use 50%. Okay, so let me actually show you my volume settings. I use 50% on both effects and music, but I think having your effects be a little louder than your music is helpful as well. Because I think getting very clear audio feedback is important for obviously maintaining good accuracy. And okay, so other things. So some people are like thrown off by like the slightest amount of audio latency. and so they would rather use their actual keyboard sounds as hit sounds. So that is something that some people do, that they actually mute their effects completely and they use their keyboard sounds as hit sounds. Personally, I don't. I think most people don't do that, but it does help some people, so don't be afraid to try it if that works for you. Because ultimately, this entire game is preference. So I think that's sort of what it all comes down to. But yes, hopefully you guys can comfortably read the graph at the bottom now, sort of understand what it means. And if the taps are super close together, then that means that the unstable rate is very low. If they're all at the exact same time, then that player's probably cheating, I don't know. Or they're just like insanely good. But if you guys are curious, as far as I'm aware, the world record for unstable rate is like 36 or something like that, like a high 36. That was by Quorum like a long time ago. I don't know if anyone has beaten that score, not that I know of, but yeah, I think like being able to get unstable rate like that just really comes down to grinding accuracy and like retrying to weed out every 100 out of a score. So there are other reasons, like I mentioned, as to why you might like get low accuracy. Like if you can't stream, for example, and a stream comes, then you might just get your unstable rate all over the place. Or you might start hitting late. Then it doesn't mean that you need offset, obviously. It just means that you can't stream probably, and if you learn how to stream, then your unstable rate will get better. So try not to think that everything is like an offset issue, because that is not how it works. So hopefully that was clear though. Let's see other things about accuracy. I can mention also, so the accuracy that you see on your profile is, so what that is basically a weighted average of the accuracies of your top plays. So like if you had all SS's on your account, but your top play was 97%, then it's gonna tank your profile accuracy a lot. So that is what that means. So it's, I think, not a bad way to like try pushing your general accuracy ability by just like going through your top plays and trying to improve accuracy on those scores. Because honestly, I think the real way to practice accuracy is to just go through old scores and improve the accuracy. And keep, you know, watching your replay if you need to, but like every time you get a 100, just like look at the graph at the bottom and see what you did wrong. And then the next time you play that map, just try to make a deliberate effort to not make that mistake again, I guess. But yes, here, okay, again, ideal. Okay, maybe I should like have set like -30 offset or something just to demonstrate. But actually, okay, some people, like even if their audio cues are very off, they can let their visual like reading sort of dominate and still end up tapping accurately, even if the map itself is not aligned with the audio cues very well. And then there's other people that tend to struggle with that, and like if the audio cues are off, like if the music is off sync, then it's going to throw them off a lot accuracy wise. So it really depends. So I know some players that were like very top accuracy players like never used offset at all, and they would just adjust their timing. Like if they were hitting late, then they would just try to hit earlier, and that's all there was to it for them. So it really depends on your own style, I guess. But with that, I think I'm going to wrap up the episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, learned something, and as usual, if you have suggestions for future topics, definitely drop them in the comments, because I do read all the comments on these videos. And check out my channel if you're watching in the future. Watch my future episodes, because I do upload these every single day. And also Twitch channel, as I have mentioned many times. I'd be very happy to see you guys there. Stop by, say hello. But yes, with that, see you guys next time.